49 after the hour, time now for Night Court with a wine war between former Hollywood power couple Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Now, they've been embroiled in a messy divorce since all the way back in 2016. The pair now fighting over ownership of a 17th century vineyard in France. In updated court filings, Pitt accuses Jolie of making a secret vindictive deal to sell her share of the vineyard to an alleged Russian oligarch. Now, according to the lawsuit, the two agreed to never share their respective interests without the other's consent. But in a legal filing from last summer, Jolie says it was Pitt who did it first. So let's pop the cork on tonight's arguments with Independent Women's Forum senior legal fellow May Mailman, and along with Genco legal founder and managing partner Brian Rotella. You know what? There's so much here. I'm dying to get to this, and I'm kind of hoping it ends up being Amber Heard, Johnny Depp thing where we're talking about this for weeks. I just love that thing. Let me share from the complaint. Now, this is interesting, and I'm going to begin with you, May. It says the purported sale violates the contractual agreement between Jolie and Pitt that formed the foundation of the couple's investment in Miraval. The purported sale deprives Pitt of his right to enjoy his home, the home he established for his family, and to oversee the business he developed from scratch. Very interesting, pretty tough language there, May. What do you think about that?
Well, Brad Pitt might not like it, but they bought this company separately. So Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie each created their own companies, and each company owned a 50% stake in the vineyard. And they did this in 2008, and since then to today, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie never signed any sort of written agreement saying what she or he could or couldn't do with their companies. So Angelina was well within her rights to sell her company, and in fact, when she sold it, she told the divorce court that she did that, and the divorce court and Brad Pitt both agreed that there was nothing the court could do to stop her. So Brad Pitt really isn't upset that she's selling her stake. He's more upset that he couldn't or didn't buy it. But the thing is, he had a lot of opportunity to buy it. As you said, they started their divorce proceedings in 2016.
Yeah.
She didn't sell her stake until 2021. He had 5 years and couldn't apparently put together a good enough offer for her.
Now, this is interesting, Brian. I want to get your take on the complaint, but while I do, let me read this for the folks. This is from Rolling Stone back in February of this year. It says, last summer, Jolie claimed in court filings that she'd spent the prior few years trying to negotiate a working arrangement or complete buyout scenario with her ex. That sort of speaks to what May was just talking about, and she did so without success. She claimed Pitt had signed off on a substantial expenditures related to Miraval without her consent, and that they couldn't agree on a price and non-compete / non-disparagement agreements for a buyout. So it sounds like to me, may be on the right track on this one. He had a chance to dive in there. Sounds like sour grapes, wouldn't you say?
Actually, Kevin, I think Brad probably thinks right now he's starring in Once Upon a Divorce from Hell. And the reason I think that is I actually think that he's got a pretty good case here, because regardless of what, with due respect to what May's saying about the two companies, each of them having two companies that bought this thing, they had an agreement, which is, I mean, this is business 101. Take it out of divorce court. You can't sell your 50% interest without the other's consent. That's very common, and these two companies have some duties to one another. They have fancy legal term fiduciary duties. Act fairly, act with loyalty. The fact that Angelina was negotiating with Brad for him to buy her out shows she had noticed she had to go through that process. And I think what was really telling, Kevin, is in 2016, this Russian oligarch offered to buy this thing for $60 million plus a private jet. And Brad said no. You know why? He knew what it would do to the value of this, and Angelina did too. Apparently, this Russian oligarch is actually being sanctioned by the Ukrainian government. So I don't think Angelina necessarily has raided Brad's tomb yet, but I do think she's raided his pocket. I think she's raided his winery. I think the courts are going to agree with Brad.
Well, I think one of the real issues here is, as I think you pointed out aptly, Brian, you want to get this out of divorce court, there's got to be a mechanism where the two parties come together, because if you can remove that element to it, it would seem to me that that would certainly advance the agenda of both parties in this particular case. And unfortunately for them, this could end up being a lot more expensive than it ought to be. May and Brian, thank you so much. We appreciate you spending a Friday night with us. I know you have lots of places to go and fun things to do, whether it be in Cleveland or Nashville. So the both of you, have a great night. Thank you so much.